all for joining. It's again, we were very happy to see how many people were interested in following the session. I will just do a bit of a general introduction. We thought in the NEB unit that it would be good that you know that these two big building blocks that are very important for the European Bauhaus are going to take place. You might have seen it already in our communication, in the communication of our partners, the Culture and Creativity KIC, but also the NEB Junction itself. But we felt that it would also be good that we just bring everybody together in the NEB community, in our own environment, and let you know a little bit more about what's going to happen. A little bit of a recap. When we presented the first steps of the European Bauhaus facility, the main funding instrument for 2025, 2026 and 2027, we said that we would like to scale up the European Bauhaus. We see that by now there are many interesting projects, a lot of things going on. We were counting that we have now over 700 projects in the European Bauhaus, funded by the European Bauhaus, but they we also detected a couple of bottlenecks. One of the bottlenecks is the learning approach. So with all these projects that are ongoing, of course, many have things that they could potentially share together. Learnings, toolkits, whatever is going on can be shared. Another bottleneck that we saw, and this is also something that we tried to address already last year, is that good projects deserve a follow-up. Good projects are there to be brought further. And while this is one of the main goals with the facility, our big funding instrument as well, that's one of the other strong elements that we would like to achieve with the facility. And the partners that are going to do part of this work are now here with us today. So I'm very happy that we found the right partners who will implement part of this work. But I leave the word mainly to them. I think it's better that they explain what they are going to do. I wish you a good session today. I hope it brings also the benefits for you, and let's stay in touch. Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Vera. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Annemie Wiekens, the NEB Junction coordinator, and her team to present the NEB Junction, what it's up to, and what we can expect from the project. Annemie and the team, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so I will just briefly show a few highlights from the NEB Junction first, and then ask. Sorry, I can hear my echo. I don't know if someone can.
Yeah, I'm taking care of it.
Right.
It
okay. Thank you. So I will just briefly present some highlights from the NEB Junction first, and then we have a couple of partners with us as well. So then I will ask if they want to add something, all within our 15 minutes, and then we can open for questions and answers. So the NEB Junction is the NEB hub for results and impacts that was made in response to a call of the NEB destination last year. We started in May, just making sense of everything. And then we had our formal launch last week in Ars Electronica in Linz. So basically what we are going to do is, as you already mentioned in the introduction, there is a lot of knowledge and experience and connections and engagement around the European Bauhaus in like all of the corners of Europe. And we're going to try to bring that together. So with emphasis on this knowledge. So what's the knowledge that's already there? And the experience is, can we document this? Can we qualify this? Can we bring this together? Can we make it accessible and usable by everyone else? Can we use it to inform the future of the new European Bauhaus? And of course, then all of those people that are generating that knowledge, can we also help the Joint Research Center to bring them together? And also to help exchange and learn from each other so that we can be better at documenting and validating knowledge so that decision makers can use it alongside economic and technical and other kinds of knowledge as well. So here you see the partners. So we are 8 partners for this hub with very distinct responsibilities. And I'll quickly show some of those, specifically then identifying a few things that are coming up now that might be of interest for the NEB community. I'll just introduce them first, and then I'll ask the partners if they would like to say something more. So one of the things that might be of interest for everyone is that we have, we're going to do each year, we're going to do a stakeholder assembly. So bringing together 40 NEB people based on invitations. And our first sessions are coming up now, October to December. So there's 3 online sessions that are going to happen. And we already have received from many then recommendations of who should be invited for this. I think it's quite close now, but if you think that, you know, I would need to be involved or so, please also let us know, perhaps write it in the chat. Or if you want to connect with the project in a different way also, please do let us know. So that will be run by Democratic Society. Beyond that, also, then we have this broader stakeholder mapping. So what's already ongoing, both within the NEB community, but also with adjacent projects that are perhaps on similar topics, or something that's not a project at all. But perhaps it's a very local initiative that's very relevant, but that's never been funded by a European Commission, that's not even connected to a European network. So how do we find all of those relevant stakeholders, and how then again do we bring everything together and show the knowledge that's already exists and where we have gaps? We will also work with the community, with you, to see, well, what are your needs and your priorities as you've already been working with New European Bauhaus, or you're starting. What is it you need going forward, and how can we help provide this? So that is something that Climate Cake is going to be responsible for. And then, of course, as I mentioned, so we're also going to do an inventory then of projects that already exist together, of course, building on what the Joint Research Center has, and then making sense of that. So collecting, structuring, analyzing that knowledge, and then feeding that knowledge into our portal. And that's going to be done by Dowell Innovation. And I will go forward with Dowell Innovation also for the next slide, because we're not just gathering any kind of knowledge. We're really particularly looking for NEB gems. So really, like, what's the essence of New European Bauhaus that we can see in those activities and projects? So not just a topic, but it's a specific way of working, perhaps. It's a type of like a physical solution and tools and long-term structural systemic innovation that's kind of intertwined and that represents all of the values and principles of NEB. So what are those gems, and where do we find them, and how do we document them? So that's a very important part of the work that we're going to be doing. And then we're going to make all of this available on our platform. We're also going to use partially AI tools in order to find all of this and structure this. So it will be this human AI interaction, and that will be done then by EIT, Austrian Institute of Technology, and then by Ars Electronica for user interface for the cultural and visual elements, making sure that we connect with culture and creativity. And then based on all of that knowledge, we're also going to do impact assessment, monitoring, indicators, knowledge analysis, etc., which will be done by eClay. and then also recommendations for decision makers and for future of NEB, for support for the implementation of the NEB facility, and anything else that might be needed. Also going beyond NEB to other types of stakeholders that will be done by Erin, and then NTNU, my own organization, will coordinate all of these things. So there's more details, but this is like the overall overview of who we are and what we're going to be doing, especially in this stakeholder mapping, stakeholder assembly, starting to look for these key pieces of knowledge, these NEB gems. That's what's going to happen now in the foreseeable future, in the next weeks and months. So we hope to have you on board. I'm going to stop to share now and then ask if we have some colleagues from the NEB Junction with us here, I think, in the meeting. I'll just see. Ilona, are you here?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, I'm happy to provide a bit more like additional framing as to what this undertaking with the stakeholder mapping is responding to. So I think we all experienced firsthand the pain of trying to navigate all the different terminologies and modalities of engagement with New European Bauhaus, because it expressly aims to be a movement of the people. So when you have this plurality of voices, it's a natural thing that the issue of putting in taxonomy and also having a way to get a grasp on what's out there and what has been done, and to map what collaborators are out there to call upon to further the agenda of the New European Bauhaus. So for us, not only for Work Package 3 on stakeholder engagement, but also in general for the entire NEB Junction, we want to build on the legacy and the ethos of the co-design phase of the New European Bauhaus. So whatever we do under the three key pillars around which the implementation is structured, be it portal, people, or knowledge, we'd like to facilitate organic and synthetic matchmaking and expand the community by practicing outside. So first, we will base our mapping on the projects and the initiatives that have been directly funded by different EU instruments and financing schemes. And then the aim is to really shed light on who are projects that are actually very NEB aligned, but have not necessarily considered coming under the umbrella of NEB. So this is not only a mapping, but it's also a profound outreach activity. And we would like to see complementary differences and creative abrasion between actors in our network and wider ecosystem. So this is very central to what we are trying to do, and we are mandated to do by the Commission and JRC. I'll stop there, and if you want to build upon this with other partners, back to you, Emily.
Thank you. I think Clémentine, you're working with the NEB Gems. Do you want to say something?
Hello, everyone. Sorry to join you only now. Yes, I would be pleased to talk about the NEB Gems. How long do I have? You tell me.
1 or 2 minutes.
1 minute? Okay. So one of the big objectives of the project, as Annie has shared already, is to share the knowledge. So what knowledge? We try to define what we want to share. So a NEB gem is a very wide open definition. It's a concept of whatever piece of knowledge, synthetic enough to be easily swallowed, let's say, that is usable and valuable by others. So that's the main principle. So it can be any form of practical knowledge. It can be methodology, it could be a software, a tool, insight from a demo site, learning from a big project, whatever, we are very open. The point is that this knowledge, we will package it, process it, and make it synthetic enough so that it is displayed on the web format, because it will be on the NEB Hub on the web platform. So we will have some constraint in terms of format. Then in the first phase, so to do that, we have a big challenge at this stage, is that there are already a lot of knowledge that is being produced about the European powerhouse, even if we just consider the EU projects. So to process all this knowledge, we will use artificial intelligence to support us in this process of knowledge processing, but also synthesis. So that's our partner EIT that will provide that. And then in the first phase, the gems will be descriptive. It means we start with describing results of initiative, projects, whatever, efforts from people. In the second stage later in the project, we imagine that we can have also this analytical layer, so not just describe a result, but provide some impact analysis framework, and that's the job of my colleague from ICLEI, or Work Package File. Maybe I'll stop here. If you have questions, I can answer. Otherwise, I can speak for like half an hour about the gems.
Good. No, thank you. Since you mentioned ICLEI, I think Joelle is here as well.
Yeah, exactly. I can jump in and compliment.
Okay.
Just a few words on the, let's say, the follow-up part of the collection of the NEB gems. That would be the monitoring of them, the analysis of the knowledge collected, and the monitoring. So indeed, we're in our responsibility is to set up a monitoring system, which has I would say like a double functionality. For one side, serve to monitor the knowledge collected, so that the NEB gems respects certain standards that we define, that align with good practices of European Bauhaus, because we'll also use the EI tool to smooth the collection, but then of course we need some sort of validation. And the second aspect of monitoring is that the monitoring system should provide a way for the users of our platform, of the website, to monitor their own projects, their own ideas and initiative in a way to align them with European Bauhaus. How we could imagine it, like still to be defined, we need to collect the knowledge before, but then an idea would be to have a sort of map of good practices, building on the European Bauhaus dashboard, but expanding it. Or another idea, and then could be complemented, is a checklist of features that a NEB gem need, and that the user need to replicate the gem, so a sort of requirements, entry point. And at the same time, a direct link from a single gem or a group of gems to an impact. So the idea is, if you apply or replicate those gems, that's where you should end up. And the idea is to mark the direct impacts, but also what from the let's say the older projects, the previous projects was an unexpected impact, and map the co-benefits. And to do this, and then I stop, but it's connecting again with what was saying before. And I also saw in the chat that you asked how to be in touch. That's very appreciated. Thanks, because the idea is to have multiple rounds of interaction, of like a feedback loop with stakeholders to define the desired features of these gems and the monitoring system, to also to collect good practices that you may know from the projects, discuss the impact, so also what was an unexpected impact, and also we foreseen some tests with newcomers and also not newcomers to validate the whole structure. And finally, also foresight session, that's towards the very end of the project, to reflect upon the future of the platform, of the monitoring system, and the NEB initiative. So to keep it a sort of future sustainability, so that we don't need like a full team to collect the NEB gems, for example, but this could be done more or less automatically, or more or less by the users themselves. Yeah, that's the idea.
Good. Thank you. I think, oh, sorry, Dubravka, last word. Yes, from Erin. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I had to allow WebEx to use my microphone. In any case, pleasure to see you all, and also just to say a few words from the side of ERIN, so European Regions Research and Innovation Network. On the one hand, our task in the project is to make sure that all these products that the colleagues mentioned are actually applicable and easy to use for the end users, so regional, local policymakers, people on the ground. We are covering not only ERIN members, of course, regions and local authorities across Europe, but also within the work package, we will be covering the construction sector, as well as we could say the community and those let's say harder to reach stakeholders who are not maybe the usual suspects and involved in the NEB so far. And at the same time, we have, I think, a very strong policy element where our goal is to find the gaps in the current, let's say, funding schemes and also in the bottlenecks in the implementation so far of the NEB program, and to write recommendations in cooperation with, of course, the JRC to see what is actually most suitable and needed from the side of the Commission in terms of input that they would need for the implementation of the NEB facility in the future and also drafting the future programs. And in order to do this, we will also organize policy meetings, the first one taking place in the first months of next year, 3 throughout the project duration, where we will gather on one hand the key stakeholders in Brussels, and as well as the representatives that we will gather from our side, from the local regional authorities and other key policy projects and stakeholders who are here. So these events will take place in person in Brussels, and of course we're happy to share info on this and invite and involve those who are interested. So feel free to, of course, reach out to us. Thanks.
Thank you. I think that was it from our side. So we could open for questions and comments. We already saw some comments in the chat, but if you want to ask any, of course, we are, additional partners as well and more people, but for today, so if you want to ask us anything, please go ahead.
Thank you, Annemie. Thank you, colleagues. So yeah, one question was how to reach out directly. Ilona volunteered to be the address for everybody to come in. While you're thinking about what to ask or how to comment, yeah, just a quick reflection that there will be a lot of opportunities to participate, contribute, provide feedback. Maybe one specific question that we got already during the registration is how can national ministries and NEB national contact points get more involved in the NEB Junction? Do you see maybe any special role for them? And if yes, how should they then follow up?
If briefly, there is a NEB for all project that gathers the NEB contact points, etc. And we have a monthly meeting with them. Over summer, we even had a 2-weekly meeting with them. I think that's the quickest entry point. I'm not sure, Dubravka, if you have anything additional, but so for the time being, with Climate Kick and TNU, and then soon also expanded towards ERIN, we have regular meetings with that NEB for all, so with the national contact points. So I think that's the easiest way. Ilona?
Yeah, and just a little teaser on the NEB Festival. It's very apropos that we are collaborating closely with the NEB for All project, and we will be sharing the space and kind of plotting programming for the NEB Festival together. So this is a very fruitful collaboration already, although they are also in the early stages of establishing the project and starting implementation. So this is definitely on our radar, and this will also be a layer in the mapping of the stakeholders.
Thank you. Super clear. Do you plan, so how to get involved beyond just reaching out? Do you plan any calls to come? How should they follow your progression, your activities? Beyond that, of course, you will read about all the activities, the calls, the invitations in the weekly newsletter, also throughout the social media of the NEB Initiative. But if somebody would really like to focus your every move, how would you recommend those people to do that?
Shall I? So we are also, as organizations, individual consortium members, pretty active and visible and present in quite a few events that are central or more on the periphery, but still relevant for New European Bauhaus. So we really believe in cultivating these relationships through in-person meetings, and we are really also very open to just talk, like have a free-floating conversation without necessarily any strict agenda, and so like we are really, I'd like to believe we're friendly enough to talk to and approach, be it during an event or setting up a dedicated call with us. And then, yes, as you mentioned, Bort, we are sharing the newsletter. So we have a slot in the newsletter of the JRC on European Bauhaus. So we will have regular updates there. And then we are also planning to have an online town hall in addition to the stakeholder assemblies, which are invitation based. So this will be a public moment where people can engage and provide their input, interact with each other also. So we will also have some workshops, but I think your go-to source will still be the newsletter, and also keeping an eye out for the organizations that comprise this consortium.
Thank you, Ilona. So I just echoed the message. You can follow, but even better is if you're proactively approaching it, whether to propose stuff, share gems, or just go into the conversation with the consortium. I think that was a really warm invitation to all of us, basically, to do that, and it would be a pity not to seize the opportunity. I have one final question from Roberto from Eurac Research. So he's asking, how is it possible to exploit NEB Junction in dissemination of running initiative results, and how could it be mentioned in NEB related research proposal preparations? So yeah, so for dissemination, exploitation of existing projects, and yeah, how to mention it in the future project applications. These are kind of two-part question, maybe a bit complicated, especially the second part, but yeah, I challenge you with this one, and then we wrap up the part on the NEB Junction.
If I may, because we already sent a lot of answers to different. So, for example, so I think if it's an existing project, so again, like contact us so we can see how we could cooperate or include your knowledge in the upcoming gems and sessions, etc. Or perhaps if we could be present at one of your upcoming meetings or connect to interact, so that all of that is fine. What we saw is, for example, when the NEB facility calls all request interaction with NEB Junction or with the NEB Hub for Results and Impacts, that we got a lot of requests on including NEB Junction or NEB Junction partners into those proposals. And as you might imagine, that's a lot of different proposals. So what we tend to answer is that, look, if your project is funded, we will cooperate with you. So just create space in the project proposal for this interaction, for the knowledge that the project is generating to be included in the NEB Junction, for interaction through sessions, through other kinds of dialogues, etc. But I think, and we've asked the JRC this as well, there should be no requirement that you've spoken with some of us or that we're not supposed to be part of your consortium or so either for a proposal. If you get funded, we will work with you. So just create space for that. Ilona, I think you had an additional comment.
Yeah, on the exploitation bit of existing projects. So again, I can just echo what has been said, that if you reach out to us, we are very keen to aggregate all the former efforts to map the dashboards that are out there, or like specific project oriented maps that are out there. And we are ready to facilitate the dissemination by including your results and your like also providing visibility for your project on our platform, on our portal.
Thank you, Ilona. And also as a community manager for the NEB community and one of the authors of our weekly newsletter, I will put my little cup there. Don't forget that also you can use these channels to disseminate further whatever you do in relation to NEB. So we are always super happy to support you in that. And you can write directly to me, and then I organize ours on our end of the team appropriately to give you as much visibility as possible. But time is running quickly, so thank you very much to NEB and the whole team behind the NEB Junction. This is the first interaction in this kind of way with the NEB community, and there will be many more throughout the project duration, so we are all looking forward to that. But thank you for today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ambra Trotto from the EIT Culture and Creativity and her team to take the floor to present us the strategic collaboration between the NEB Initiative and the EIT CC. Ambra and the team, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction. I am, of course, fighting now with permissions of sharing the screen, which before I didn't have to. So I'm not really sure what is going on.
I mean, it's not a proper online session if we don't have some technical difficulties.
No, exactly.
So that's ingrained in the in the everyday life of all of us.
It's inherent.
Yes.
Yeah. So now it asks me to quit and reopen. This is fantastic. Okay. Let's see. Screen. Maybe this works. Do you see my screen now?
We do in the PowerPoint mode, not the presentation one yet.
Now
it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Borut. Thank you, Vera, for the introduction. Ambra Trotto. I am the Director of Transformation and RIS at the newly born EIT Culture and Creativity. And I'm very happy about the collaboration that we have started with the NEB. So a few words about the EIT. Yes, I am sharing videos. A few words about the EIT Culture and Creativity for the ones that are not familiar with it. We are a European institutional partnership, the 9th of the kind, the youngest sibling of the family of KICS, of Knowledge and Innovation Community. We are a funding and innovation agency, temporary funding and innovation agency that works with the Horizon funds, but also aims at becoming financially sustainable in time. We have 4 basic principles. We work with entrepreneurship, where we want to meet challenges through collaboration and innovation. We work with innovation. We want to be a change agent, bringing forth equitable transformation. We work with care. So we want to transform culture and creativity while defending planetary boundaries. And we work with collaboration. So creating a Europe that dares to take action and to imagine. So what is a European institutional partnership? We have a number of partners. At the moment, there is an issue to change the page here. Yes. Okay, so these are our core partners. Then we have also cooperation partners and community partners. This is the core, and this is where we start. Of course, the ambition is to grow this ecosystem in time. Our main objective is to support the culture and creative sector, But there is also the scope of transforming society through the culture and creative sector. And this is the area that I am responsible for. And for us, synergizing with the NEB gives us a strong legitimation in the kind of work that we are trying to do. Of course, by doing this, we automatically also support the culture and creative sector. So what is it that we do in our area? Which I think it's quite important to sort of frame the collaborations that we are working with the NEB. So the EIT normally creates supports mechanism for new educational formats, new services, new products, new systems, new models. And what we do basically is that we infrastructure multi-stakeholder collaboration platforms that want to foster sustainable innovation and societal transformation. And what we do, what we use to do that in terms of methodologies, we take advantage and exploit and leverage on cultural practices and design and creative approaches driven by NEB values. Then what will come out if we manage to create this multi-stakeholder collaboration platform that nurture ecosystems that can actually tackle societal challenges in a situated way. There will be emerging transformative skills, services, knowledge, business model, investment, governance models, and policy framework. Ultimately, the impact that we want to achieve is sustainable and regenerative development, increasing social cohesion and resilience. 3 of our flagship projects, which are the ones that I want to introduce to you today, are the NEB Systemic Narratives, the EIT Culture and Creativity Development for the NEB Academy, and the Fashion Shift. There are colleagues in the room that I will call in to help me explain in a very, very short time our ambition. So at the moment, we have started a collaboration with these 3 projects that have a very short time span. So we have this initial phase that will finish by the end of the year, January at the latest. But we have embedded actions to continue these activities in the next 3 years in the proposal of the business plan that is under evaluation at this moment. So in November, we will know if the ambitions that we have to build on the NEB, which constitute a big chunk of our business plan of the upcoming 3 years, will be approved. So I'll start with the NEB Systemic Narrative. This has been a conversation with the colleagues at the NEB unit, where we will engage in legacy networks that come out of both the NEB lighthouses, but also other NEB demonstrator, where we're running a participated process where we want to create learning journeys and systemic narratives to explore what kind of innovation deployment mechanism we can put in place. So there was something about there are extremely valuable projects that have been put in place in the NEB context. How do we actually support as EIT Culture and Creativity to create other kind of tools and funding mechanism and transformation partnerships so that we can keep on nourishing those projects and give them continuity in other forms and use our kind of specificity to support those projects and create those tools. For this, I would like to call in my colleague Nina Bozic, who is senior researcher at RISE and is the facilitation lead within the NEB Systemic Narratives.
Yeah, thank you, Ambra.
Hello, Nina. So my question for you is the following. If you could tell us a little bit more, why do you think it is important and how we're working with the fact that we need to find different ways to tell about systemic impact?
Yeah, exactly. So as you said, Ambra, we are trying to approach this from a creative practice. This is why we put together quite an interesting, very senior and very creative team of different artists that come from performing arts, from visual arts, from music, but also designers and design researchers, creative technologists, and people like me and Alessandra, who is the strategic lead.
who have worked with transformative projects like NEB projects for many years, using creative practice as an enabler for transformation. And when we started to process all these documents that are already existing, for example, from the NEB Lighthouse projects and others, we kind of realized it's quite a complex landscape to navigate in. So we're figuring out how can we create narratives about the learnings, both what has been really working well, like the NEB Junction mentioned, they will collect the gems, but also what has been really tough and painful and what needs more attention in the future in order to enable the more long-term systemic enablers for embedding NEB approaches, knowing how cities develop and work. So we are really looking into all kinds of different outputs, from storytelling through podcasts, through using visualization tools, interactive theater performance, and also learning journeys online. So we hope that we can create narratives that are really experiential, engaging, and also that look at the lenses of different types of people that are usually involved in these projects, being artists, being citizens, being policymakers, or those working in the cities. And then, because we're also working from the lens of EIT culture and creativity, we hope to provide recommendations based on all these learnings and creative narratives that will disseminate in engaging way the learnings from NEB. Demonstrators also, like, what can EIT culture and creativity do in the future to complement other types of NEB related activities, be it through funding or other mechanisms, education, networking, and so on and so forth. So we're really looking forward to complement what NEB Junction is doing, and we have a much shorter timeline to do that. But we hope we can continue in the future and tap into this creative potential of the people we are involving. So we are really looking forward to engage also with NEB community and invite you to be part of. We will do some sort of different online deep interviews and creative workshops where we will collect these stories from different perspectives. And we hope to be able to invite you also to share your voices and learnings and experiences that can become part of our NEB systemic narratives.
Thank you, Nina. And this, of course, is a work that will feed since it is a very short first pilot on this. This will also hopefully give some material that the NEB Junction can capitalize on, and we hope to be of help in that sense. Then we have the development for the NEB Academy. What we want to do with the NEB Academy, there has been already a lot of work in the past years. We want to synergize with the active actors, and we would like to work on a feasibility plan to explore how to further develop it together with everybody that has already been working on it, and sort of leverage on our strengths as EIT culture and creativity and what our kind of environment affords. So it is about skills and professional education, and also higher education courses and programs. And for this, I would like to invite Marlene Johansson, senior researcher at RISE, but also coordinator of this project together. And the question for Marlene that I would like to ask is a reflection on the NEB Academy, which is a very ambitious and complex project that has already set up courses, structures, and ways of working. So Marlene, if you could say something about how you see that the EIT Culture and Creativity can contribute to the next steps of the Academy.
Yes, thank you. And we are two in the team. So it's also me and Susanne Thyrén from the coordination team. But so I will really start. So as the NEB Academy and the NEB Alliance is already today a fantastic institutional structure of both academic and professional partners all over Europe. And we are organized in different regional NEB Academy hubs. So we are starting to setting the governance structure and how it will grow. That is also continuously growing. So it's in a really really amazing phase at the moment with the NEB Academy and the NEB Alliance. So what we foresee really strongly is also that the EIT culture and creativity can be the key to further support the strategic vision to upskill and reskill and also transform sustainably the construction industry and also the lived environment to change our behaviors with the NEB values. And also further support all the work that has been done within NEB Alliance the first 2 years in the next coming steps to both reach the vision to become a long-term self-sustained institution with the help and with the support from EIT Culture and Creativity, and also find a way to continue to scale and grow to reach out further to actually upskill and reskill 3 million until, was it 2020, in the coming 3 years. And also to do it with the lens and the support of EIT Culture and Creativity. I think this is a super important way forward. And the third way we see also that the collaboration can contribute to is also the accreditation process of the trainings that is pioneered today and that also will come in the future. And also in there to explore the revenue models to be sustainable, to align with the NEB values furthermore, which is done today, but continue to do that. So I think EIT can further support the upskilling and reskilling in the transition of the ecosystem, but with tools and practices, as we talked about in the previous project as well, from the culture and creative sector, to use the tools and the practice, and also to combine with the systemic narrative initiatives to support both the built and the lived environment for the future, with the leaning on the values of the NEB.
Great, thank you, Madeleine. And then I will go to yes, the fashion shift briefly, because I see that we are already over time. So with the NEB Fashion Shift, we have started an initiative that is called the NEB Fashion Adapter for this fall, and that will continue next year and in the upcoming years. And what we want to do here is supporting independent fashion businesses in the transition towards circular and sustainable practices. So we do target training and we do expert mentorship, and then the pilots will hopefully receive financial support in 2026 to implement these transformation strategies. And I see there's a couple of people of the team in the room. I see Alejandra Pisco and my colleague, my colleague Miriam Catrain, who is the head of innovation of the EIT Culture and Creativity Southeastern Alps. And that is the project manager for this project. So Miriam, I would like to ask you briefly, what have we already learned through the NEB Fashion Adapter about the realities and the challenges that the fashion SMEs face in their transformation journey? And why is it important to create this kind of dedicated programs and support them?
Thank you, Andra. Hi, everyone. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So the NEB Fashion Adapter is above all about listening, and it's listening to what small and medium-sized fashion companies really need as they try to transform. And in this first step, as you said, from linearity to circularity in business model, in practice, and along the whole value chain. And these creative businesses work with the scarcest resources, so it's time and people and money, and yet they carry enormous creative potential. We are approaching this program also as a pilot, as you also just said, and through this pilot, we are beginning to understand just how complex this journey is, and it's where the struggles are, but also where new possibilities open up for fashion that is not only sustainable, but also inclusive and beautiful in practice. And that is why programs like the NEB Fashion Adapter are so important. They just only don't just support creative SMEs. They give them a voice and visibility and tools to navigate this change. And at the same time, they allow us to learn how the European Bauhaus can become a true partner in transformation and helping the creative sector lead us towards a future that embodies our shared values. And also, what we just also really learn from this is because if we want transformation, we must begin where creativity meets constraint And it is exactly where the NEB Fashion Adapter stands.
Fantastic. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you all. And I would like to conclude here and leave space for the questions that you might have after this very short and intense presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Short, but very concise. And we have already the first question coming from Hugh. So how do you see and will ensure your complementarity with the EIT NEB community actions? So just to offer broader context to everybody listening and maybe not knowing, the EIT NEB community is a group of EIT geeks that contribute to the NEB initiative for the last probably 3.5 years, and they went through different programs that support different initiatives. I'll link their website in the chat, but going back to Ambra and the team, is how is this complementarity in development and how it should then play out at the end?
Yes, this complementarity, I mean, we are starting with this, and of course there is the EIT community NEB has been going on for several years, for 4 years if I'm not mistaken, and has already done a lot has capitalized on the EIT strengths and embedded the NEB values in a series of activities that have been working very, very well. When we have entered the landscape, we have started a conversation with our colleagues that are working with the EIT community NEB, and I think that the synergies will have to be hammered out in the upcoming months. At the moment, we had a quite precise task to carry out from the NEB, and this is what we are sticking to. But of course, this conversation is opening up to all sorts of new possibilities of cooperation. So as soon as we have oriented ourselves into what our specificity of EIT culture and creativity can do, and we know exactly what our contribution can be, of course, that at that point we can figure out together with other institutions how to best collaborate. So of course, collaboration is in our DNA, and we're looking forward to find all venues of collaboration that are possible with all the active partners.
Thank you, Ambra. The next question that we got is linked to the NEB Academy, and it's quite simple. So what are the next opportunities to connect to the NEB Academy? Maybe it's a question to direct to several actors that are connected to the NEB Academy in its realization, but from the context of this collaboration and what's on the table, what can you say about future opportunities to connect?
I will ask. I will take a couple of months to reply to this question. I can get back to this. I'm not the person that can reply, because we are entering as the latest guest in the room, the NEB Academy. So I wouldn't take absolutely the stage to answer to this question, because I'm not prepared to answer. This is maybe a question for the NEB Alliance itself. I don't know, Marlene, if you want to say something about this, but I mean, we are slowly but certainly entering the room and exploring how we can support what has already been built. So I'm not ready to reply to this question.
Understood. Marlene, do you want to add something, or would you rather also skip this one?
I think the NEB Academy is expanding. There is just a round of cascade funding that has been out, so there is more partners already entering. And then we will see also how we do it further on in scaling within the EIT culture and creativity.
Thank you. And I also take this as a signal to us, to the NEB unit, to perhaps organize something with the NEB Academy, NEB Alliance, to give you a more comprehensive update and put on the spotlight those that are better positioned maybe to answer these kind of questions that it comes that are linked to different opportunities inside this whole ecosystem. So we'll definitely take good note of that and follow up on that as well. We have time for, let's say, one more question. If somebody would like to come in at the end. Going once, going twice.
There is another question in the chat. Yeah, you can read it from Dubravka.
Sorry, apologies, Dubravka, and thank you for reminding me about this. So Dubravka is asking about the NEB. The NEB Academy has mostly been focused on the construction sector. Is there an idea to expand the scope in the future? So I will intervene here. I think that the question comes under the same umbrella as the previous one, and probably not probably will be addressed in another setting, not specifically this one, and we'll follow up on that definitely, because I don't think it's fair to put the questions to those that don't have the full picture to answer them in that sense. So we came to once, twice before, so I'll go 3 times, and conclude the Q&A here. I would like to thank Ambra and the team for taking the time and trying to squeeze in a lot of explanation in quite a short time. We appreciate that a lot. And thank you also on my end, as my moderation is concluding here, for your attention, and passing the floor to Vera to conclude the session. Vera, please.
Oh, Borut, thank you. Thank you for giving me the last words. Thank you very much. I see that we have some homework to do as well, Borut, so we will come back. Definitely. I liked very much what happened in the session, because that's exactly what we wanted to do, to start already these kind of concrete connections, people reaching out to each other. So I think this is a very good signal. And both presentations show the different actions that can move the knowledge base, the learning network, but also some very concrete actions into the next stage for all these all the NEB projects that we have. Please keep following us closely. So either through our community updates, where the NEB Junction has a special spot, the email addresses in the chat, and of course also directly following the dedicated channels of the EIT CC-KIC and the NEB Junction itself. And I hope that in that sense, we connect the dots and we try to create all together the movement of the NEB and speed things up and continue work together. Thank you very much for being here, and hope to see you again and soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ciao.